say this because back then you would interact with people and they would say, nah, once they have the majority, no, it's not going to work. And you can just imagine, even in this instance, for example, the NDC, if they had got the majority versus the MPP now, look at what a struggle it has been for the MPP in governance. So I really don't. How are you going to be able to marshal those forces?
Honestly, that is what the country needs. I think the decision or the idea at the time that if NPP had won and they wouldn't have had a majority in parliament, and as a result they should put NDC through, was a wrong notion. At the moment we're having challenges where the president has too much power. Most of the corruption that we're facing at the moment, which is a canker eaten into our society, which is impeding upward mobility and exacerbating income inequalities and all of the mess, the country not being affordable, is because of corruption. People are having monies they haven't really worked for in their hands. And basically when that happens, the whole economy gets into shambles. We'll talk about how severe corruption has gotten into our economy and is affecting us. So we need to have separation of powers and checks and balances. That was a natural one in the bidding. Clearly, if our votes had landed MDC to take over majority and MPP in parliament as a legislature and MPP to be the executive, I think that was a very good idea and that was a very good plan. As to why people thought that wasn't good and they had to give the power back to the NDC or MPP was wrong. We need to separate powers. We need to have checks and balances. These are very good for our first building our democracy and also for our economy. We need to check on each other. If you don't have these sort of checks and balances and separation of powers in place, this is what leads to corruption, as I said earlier. So the idea that NPP needed to have majority in parliament for them to vote for them and so forth, it's neither here nor there. And I don't think what thinking that went into. But clearly, it was the best thing for the country at the time. What we're going through now is one of the best experiences where an executive cannot just bring policies or bring a budget and expect a rubber stamp in parliament. You expect people to scrutinize you. You expect people to look through these documents and make sure that things are done properly. And that is exactly what is going on. So I think that notion, whether we have majority in parliament or not, it's not really the case. It's about having efficient government systems. It's having transformative leadership that would take over and bring the right policies that would change the destiny of the nation. It's not really about the structures of who is in charge or who is not there. Talking about they're going to give us problems in parliament. We're building a people's government. If we bring policies, if we bring programs that would change the destinies of our people, and somebody sits in parliament and frustrated because he's a member of a certain party, he doesn't want the government to succeed, we're coming back right at your yard, calling for town hall meetings in your community and telling your locals exactly what this policy is going to affect their lifestyle. And if you are not careful, you're sitting there, they're voting against you the next time because they know you are not helping them. So it's going to be a people's government.